Hey, Boaz here with Next Pittsburgh. We've got another installment of Yinzer Backstage Pass. Look behind me, here's an American crow. That's because we're at Humane Animal Rescue of Pittsburgh's Wildlife Center here in Verona. And to tell us what's happening over here is the Director of Wildlife Rehabilitation, Kefalos. Katie, thanks for having us.
Yeah, thanks for coming to visit.
So who are we looking at right here? I guess who's behind us?
So this is Ray. He is our American crow, and he actually came to us about 23 years ago. He's celebrating his 24th birthday this year in May.
Wait, how? Well, my birthday's also in May. I have a lot in common with this crow. How long do crows normally live?
Crows can live to be about 30 in captivity, so he has some more miles to go.
And so all these birds came to you because they sort of had a rough patch in life.
They did. So all of our education ambassadors that you see here on Raptor Row are all animals that came to us that were injured in the wild, and they could not be re-released, but they did make suitable candidates for captivity. So we have, next to Ray is Vinny, our turkey vulture, and she came to us back in 2008 and has been living her best life ever since.
Beautiful. And so oh my gosh, he's making incredible noises over here.
He is actually making a few words, combination of a few words between hi and squirrel. He hears those the most often, and he mimics us, but as he's gotten older, he's kind of merged the words together.
Oh my gosh, that was wild. It's like a human talking. So eerie. Okay, and this is a really busy time of the year for you because in addition to housing these birds over here, you're also sort of a place to bring baby animals that people find in their yards or, neighborhoods.
Yes, so this is our busy time of year. Baby season has begun, even though sometimes the weather is playing tricks on us. Spring has sprung. We do intake roughly about 3,500 patients during the bulk of our busy season, and most of which are orphaned or injured young wildlife. But we do also get in quite a lot of adults as well, commonly hit by cars, things of that nature. But we do treat almost every species here found in native to PA, with the exception of bear, white-tailed deer, and venomous snakes.
Wow, have people tried to bring a bear here?
No. No, we have gotten a few calls about bear, but no bears have showed up at our front door yet.
You have to call like the Pennsylvania Game Commission if you find a bear? Is that what you have to do, or someone?
Yes, we do advise if you do see an injured bear or it's sick of some sort, to notify the Pennsylvania Game Commission, and they'll step in.
Oh my gosh, it just said squirrel. I don't even know if you can hear that, but this is nuts. And over here, there are two barred owls. Here's a story about a barred owl. I had a barred owl fly into my head once.
Oh my.
Yeah.
Oh no, were you on a hike?
Yeah, I was in a hike, and someone speculated that it was like a young one that was still sort of confused. But it flew away afterward. It seemed fine. I think I was more shocked than it was.
Yeah, the young ones, they're still getting their bearings, being alone out in the wild. So that can happen from time to time. So consider yourself lucky.
Yeah, how did these two end up here?
So these girls, we have Cece and Leela. Leela is the one with one functional eye, and Cece actually only has one functional wing. They are a mated pair. They came in at separate times, but barred owls do live in a community setting, so they do like to be with other barred owls. So they do better in captivity if there is two of them. And we originally got Cece back in 2014. And I believe Leela came in late 2015, early 2016. And they both were non-releasable. And we did introduce them slowly together to see if they would like each other. And it was love at first sight.
And you said they even started nesting.
Yes, they did start building nests for each other. So we did have to make sure that they were both ladies. We do not have a breeding permit up here at the Wildlife Center, so we needed to make sure that we weren't going to have any baby barred owls bopping around. But they are both ladies. They are just happy to be together.
And so what, I guess, is the most common animal people are bringing here?
It does depend on the year.
Yeah.
Some years we get in an overabundance of Virginia opossums. Other years, it's certain species of bird. Right now, we have a lot of squirrels, and one very small baby chipmunk that you guys will get to see later.
Gosh, I'm going to give a shout out to Annie who's walking backwards through puddles. It's really impressive. And over here we've got two silver foxes.
Yes, we have Davy Jones, which is over here in the corner, and then we have Jacob. They are both silver foxes that came into our facility back in 2011. They were a confiscation case. They were being kept illegally in PA without the proper permits, and they weren't.
And they're native to Pennsylvania?
So they are more of a semi-domesticated fox. They're very close to a red fox, but these guys you won't necessarily see around here. But they were brought in with their confiscation case, and we've had them here at this facility ever since.
And you have a few other sort of mascots who hang out here, one of who is Clover the skunk.
Yes, we do. She is actually hanging out with our education team today, getting some quality enrichment time with them and some training sessions in. So you guys will get to meet her later.
Well, can we go right now and go say hi?
Yeah.
So now we're sitting on the floor of the education office, and Clover the skunk is sort of getting the confidence to meet me. I guess I'm a new stranger. It makes sense that Clover's a little hesitant.
Yeah, she does need to build a relationship with you. She has been with our facility since 2016. So she's very comfortable with our humane educators as well as the Wildlife Center staff and volunteers because she's been around us a lot.
Well, she is the cutest thing I've ever seen. So cool. And so squirrels and possums are some of the most common things you get. So what's one of the most unusual things that people have ever brought?
Whew. I have been here 8 years, and we've gotten a lot of weird things in. One time we did get an illegal pet in, a fennec fox, actually. The gentleman that brought it in a few years ago had no idea what it was. He found it in his backyard. I guess it must have been someone's pet that got loose. The poor thing did not make it. He did get out in winter, dead of winter, so he wasn't in good condition. But that was probably the oddest animal I've ever received here.
Wow. And what's the least common native animal that you get?
Ooh, maybe a mink or a weasel. We maybe get 2 or 3 weasels a year, if that. They're not super common, at least as admits here at the Wildlife Center.
And so what's a general tip? Someone is in their backyard, they find a baby squirrel or they find a baby rabbit. What should they do?
Well, first you want to assess to see if it actually needs your intervention or if it's just a young animal that is learning to explore for themselves, which is not uncommon to not see mom necessarily right by the baby's side. But if the baby or the animal is actively bleeding, limping, showing real signs of distress, then I would... Oh.
I got a little nibble over there. Does that mean Clover likes me or she wants me to leave?
She didn't... She was probably looking for more bugs, but I think she's okay.
I love this. Okay, so back to you're assessing if this baby animal is really in need.
Yes. So you want to assess from a distance. Are they actively bleeding, limping, something along those lines that would indicate that you need to intervene? But if you're ever curious or not sure, just give our hotline a ring. We do have a helpline that is operating every single day from 8 to 4. You can call, and if you don't get someone right away, just leave a voicemail and we'll be able to get back to you.
And so, okay, a family of squirrels comes, or a brood of baby squirrels. What's the terminology?
We just call them a litter of squirrels.
Okay, a litter of squirrels. They come, you rehabilitate them, they're healthy, they're feeling good. Then what happens to them?
So when they have grown up, developed up to a certain age, squirrels, we do like to release them when they would be naturally separating from their family dynamic. So we raise them up here until they're about I think 15 weeks. They're put outside, of course, and conditioned to, live on their own. We provide them with all the natural elements that they would need to build a tray, which is, a nest essentially for them, and make sure that they are.
Clover's found the jar
She's
of
still looking for the bugs.
the jar of.
Let me just sprinkle some more out.
Oh yeah, what are those exactly?
Oh, these are dried mealworms. They're Clover's favorite. She loves to snack on them, along with a bunch of other wildlife that we get in. If you are interested in, contributing to Clover's bug supply, we do have an Amazon wish list that you can go to and help support the wildlife here.
That's awesome. Okay, so once they are sort of at the right age, these squirrels or whatever to be released, so where do they go from here? Do you just like let them out in the backyard?
We do have a slew of release sites just from members of the public. They apply for their property to be a release site for us. Our release site coordinator, as well as one of our rehabbers, go out to the site and assess and survey the land to see what it's suitable for, what it's not suitable for, and then we can utilize them in the future to release squirrels, opossums, raccoons, foxes, things like that. We do get a little bit more leeway for our babies to be able to go in a more ideal habitat, but adults or juveniles and up do need to be put back where they were found. So if we do get in a juvenile squirrel or a juvenile red-tailed hawk, something along those lines, we do have to make sure that when they have aged up and they have, fully recovered, that they do go back to their home space.
Gotcha. And next up, we're going to be able to watch you feed a tiny baby chipmunk. But you said we're not supposed to talk during it. So maybe tell us everything we need to know about this chipmunk now, and then we'll just watch you feed it.
Yeah. Yes. So we are, whenever I do the hand feeding, we do want to remain quiet. We want to make sure we're not stressing out the animal as well as not habituating it. So getting it used to our sounds and getting comfortable around humans. That's not what we want. We want them to still remain as wild as ever when we re-release them. But this young chipmunk did come in a few days ago. He's about 3 weeks and some change, maybe 3 weeks, 3 days. Her eyes are still closed. She was separated from her family, found alone. So we're filling in a pseudo family, if you will. But she is still on hand feedings because her eyes haven't opened yet. We are starting to give her a little bit of dry food. Chipmunks are really resilient in that way that they'll just start looking for food with their eyes closed. Until her eyes do open, we do have to do a little bit of hand feeding with a syringe and a little special miracle nipple for her.
And so many of these baby animals need to eat really frequently. I was looking on your website that like baby songbirds need to eat every half hour practically.
Yes, baby songbirds are fed every 30 minutes from 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. every day.
So does that mean that someone here on your staff or a volunteer is just feeding them constantly?
Yes, staff members, volunteers, interns, we would not be able to run this place without our volunteers and our interns to help feed just the sheer volume of babies that we get in. So it is really helpful. We're only a staff of 13, and not all 13 of our staff members up here at the Wildlife Center do work in the actual clinic. So it's not really a lot of manpower to do over 4,500 patients a year. So our volunteers and our interns are incredible. They really help us with our mission.
Wow. And so you said if people want to help, Clover's bug fund, they can, go to your Amazon wish list. What else can people do to support you?
We do accept all forms for donation, used towels, blankets, things like
Bitcoin.
Yes, any, of course, monetary donations, but we also are always looking for supplies, common things like Dawn dish soap, paper towels, of course, bugs, are all needed to make this place run efficiently. So we're always looking for donations.
Awesome. Well, thanks so much, Katie. This was so fun.
Yeah, thank you. Clover, do you have anything to say?